Hey, let's be honest for a minute. If you're a Chiefs fan, you've probably been riding the confidence train for most of this decade. Kansas City hasn't missed the playoffs since 2014, and for years making the postseason felt automatic. But right now, that certainty has evaporated into something a lot more fragile. After a disappointing loss to the Bills, a 28-21 game that ended with a failed Hail Mary, a real possibility has to be said out loud. The Chiefs could miss the playoffs this season. You don't need doom and gloom to see why that thought isn't crazy. The current record sits at 5-4, and while that's not catastrophic, it's far from the runaway starts we've come to expect. More important than the raw record is how those wins and losses were earned. A lot of the victories came against teams that were missing pieces, or simply weren't playoff caliber that week. And the losses? Those came when the stakes were highest, against teams that actually look like contenders. That pattern is exactly what makes this season feel precarious. Maybe what stings the most is how Kansas City has performed against legitimate competition. Right now, the Chiefs are 0-4 against teams considered true contenders. Losses to the Chargers, Eagles, Jaguars, and Bills. That's not just a stat. It's a trend that tells you how the team shows up under pressure. If you want to win deep in January, you have to beat teams that look like they can make a run. And KC hasn't proven they can do that consistently this season. Let me be clear. I'm not saying the sky is falling. There's still plenty of talent, and there are reasons to believe this group can flip the script. But the margin for error is paper thin. NFL math and the remaining schedule mean any more slip-ups could really sink postseason hopes. You have to appreciate how tight that noose is right now. So, tell me in the comments right now. Do you still think the Chiefs make the playoffs? Type yes or no, and say one sentence why. While you're typing that, do me a favor. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. We're pushing for 6,000 subscribers, and every single one helps the channel keep bringing deep KC breakdowns. And if this video made you think, smash the like button so more fans see it. Now that we've faced the reality of where the Chiefs stand, let's talk about something that's been quietly haunting this season: the flat track bully label. It's a brutal phrase, but it fits a pattern we can't ignore. Here's what it means. A flat track bully is a team that dominates the weak and crumbles against the strong. And right now, that's the uncomfortable category Kansas City seems to fall into. Sure, the Chiefs have looked sharp in wins, but look closer. Those victories came against teams like the Raiders, the Panthers, and the Patriots. Squads dealing with injuries, shaky quarterbacks, or plain inconsistency. When the competition is average, the Chiefs look like the dynasty we know. But once the opponent has real playoff potential, suddenly everything feels harder. Let's break it down. Against true contenders, the Chargers, Eagles, Jaguars, and Bills, Kansas City is 0-4. 4 swings, 4 misses. That's not coincidence. That's a pattern that exposes weaknesses in game planning, execution, and even mindset. The hard truth is simple. The Chiefs can't seem to win when the games truly matter. And if we're honest, that's what separates good teams from great ones. You can't build a playoff resume by beating up on backups. You build it by beating your peers, the teams you'll see in January. That's how you earn a 1-seed, home field advantage, and the respect of the league. Right now, Kansas City is fighting to prove they still belong in that upper class. There's another layer, the eye test. The offense has moments of brilliance, but often looks hesitant against disciplined defenses. Patrick Mahomes still flashes magic, but protection breaks down, receivers lose separation, and the run game can disappear. It's not just bad luck. It's an identity crisis. The Chiefs used to dictate terms. Now they react. So, which loss hurt the most this season for you? Was it the Bills, the Chargers, the Jags, or that grinded-out Eagles game? Drop your pick in the comments and tell me why that one still stings. I'll read through them. This fan base always has the sharpest takes. And if you're new here and nodding along thinking, yeah, something's off with this team, hit subscribe right now. We're aiming for 6,000 Chiefs fans in this community, and your sub helps us get there. Tap that like button too. It really helps more fans find these deep dive conversations. All right, we've talked about how the Chiefs got into this rough spot, and why those statement games have been the problem. Now it's time to look forward, because the next stretch of the schedule is where everything gets decided. And I mean everything. Here's what's coming up. The Colts, Chargers, Broncos, Texans, Cowboys, Titans, and Raiders, a mix of winnable games and real traps. On paper, it looks manageable, but paper doesn't play football. Let's talk through how each one matters. First, the Colts. It's the kind of matchup Kansas City absolutely has to dominate. Not just win, dominate. This is your chance to re-establish rhythm, build confidence, and get the offense clicking again. If that game is close, it's a red flag that the same inconsistency we've seen all year is still lingering. Then there's the Chargers rematch, which might be the biggest gut check left on the schedule. You can't lose twice to a division rival in a playoff chase and expect to come out fine. That game could literally swing the AFC West standings. Beat the Chargers, and you're alive. Lose again, and suddenly you're praying for wildcard math. After that, it's Denver, and on the surface, that looks easier. But this version of the Broncos has improved defensively, and they'd love nothing more than to spoil Kansas City's hype-beat season. Don't underestimate that kind of motivation. Now here's where it gets tricky. The final 4 games, Houston, Dallas, Tennessee, and Las Vegas, will decide everything. Houston's young and hungry. Dallas is physical and explosive. Tennessee can drag you into a street fight, and the Raiders always play KC like it's their Super Bowl. None of those games are freebies. Let's run the math. If Kansas City goes 2-2 in those final 4, they probably finish around 11-6, and that might just sneak them into the postseason. But go 1-3, or worse, and you're looking at 10-7 or 9-8, which could easily leave you watching January football from the couch for the first time in a decade. That's how thin the line is right now. Every loss magnifies the pressure. Every win delays the panic. That's exactly how this feels. Kansas City doesn't need perfection, just consistency. But that's been the hardest thing to find this year. So here's what I want you to do. Go down to the comments and predict the Chiefs' final record. No explanations, no essays, just drop a number. Do you think they go 11-6, 10-7, or something worse? Let's see what the fan base really believes right now. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our week-by-week updates. We're trying to hit 6,000 subscribers, and every new member of Chiefs Kingdom helps keep this channel going strong. Now, let's talk numbers, because sometimes analytics tell you a very different story than your gut does. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, the numbers are confusing. According to major models, the Chiefs still have a solid chance to make the playoffs. Some projections put them near a 70% playoff probability, while Super Bowl odds sit in the low double digits. So technically, by the models, this team is still in the mix. But here's where things get complicated. Those analytics are based on probabilities, trends, not emotions. They look at point differentials, strength of schedule, injury, reports, and historical outcomes. What they don't measure is momentum, confidence, or the frustration that's been bubbling up after each tough loss. So while the data says, calm down, everything's fine, your eyes might be saying something different. The Chiefs just haven't looked like a team with a 70% playoff chance. They've looked shaky, disjointed, and at times, even predictable. Analytics might call that variance. Fans call it a red flag. Still, you can't completely dismiss the math. Patrick Mahomes is still the quarterback. Andy Reid is still one of the best coaches in football. Teams with that kind of leadership rarely stay down for long. The models reflect that. They're essentially betting on history. And history says, don't count out Mahomes in November. But the bottom line is this: numbers don't win playoff games. Execution does. And right now, the Chiefs have to prove the analytics right. Do you trust analytics or your gut when it comes to this team? Type analytics. If you still believe in the math or gut, if you think something's off, no spreadsheet can fix. I'll be checking the comments to see which side Chiefs Kingdom stands on. And while you're at it, help us out by subscribing to the channel. We're on our way to 6,000 subscribers, and your support makes it possible for us to keep producing Chiefs coverage like this. Give this video a like if you're still believing in a turnaround. So, here we are, the crossroads of the season. The Chiefs aren't out of it, not even close. But if Kansas City wants to live up to those playoff odds, some real changes have to happen right now. No more waiting for things to click. It's time to fix what's broken. Let's start with the obvious: play calling. Andy Reid has earned his place as one of the best offensive minds in NFL history. But even legends fall into patterns. The Chiefs' offense has looked too predictable. Short routes, limited motion, and a lack of creativity in the red zone. They need to rediscover that aggressiveness that once made defenses terrified to blitz Mahomes. Whether it's more pre-snap movement or getting the tight ends more involved, the spark has to come back. Then there's execution. Penalties, drops, and miscommunications. The little things are killing drives. Championship teams don't shoot themselves in the foot this often. The margin for error is just too small this year, and cleaning up those mistakes is the quickest way to start stacking wins again. On the ETE defensive side, things haven't been disastrous, but the run defense and play-action coverage have been glaring weaknesses. Opposing quarterbacks are thriving off simple fakes, and that's a discipline issue. Steve Spagnuolo's unit needs to tighten that up, especially against teams like Dallas and Tennessee, who thrive on play action. Leadership is the final piece. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones have to take ownership of the vibe in the locker room. The team looks tense, frustrated, like the confidence that used to define them has slipped a bit. This is where experience matters. The Chiefs have been to the mountaintop. They know what it takes to win under pressure. It's time to bring that energy back. Now, let's talk reality versus hope. The honest summary is this: the Chiefs probably still make the playoffs, but for the first time in a long time, that outcome isn't guaranteed. That's where we are, still alive, but walking a razor's edge. So here's my verdict. The Chiefs aren't done, but they're in danger. The margin for error is gone. The excuses are over. And it's time to prove the dynasty still has life left. I want to hear from you. Do you still believe this team can win the Super Bowl? Drop a simple yes or no in the comments and tell me one reason why. Before you go, hit subscribe and help us reach our goal of 6,000 Chiefs fans right here on Total Chiefs News. Hit that like button if you still believe this team can bounce back, and share this with a friend who bleeds red and gold just like you.